What's happening, y'all? Country music is a genre that doesn't shy away from telling it how it is.
Radio stations set up these garbage cans for people to throw out their CDs.
But sometimes things can get a bit too out of hand. Whether it be a terrible performance, a controversial statement, or screwing over the industry as a whole.
How is it not a boycott? They haven't been playing our music for a few weeks.
There are definitely some moments that immediately come to mind when we think of controversy in country music. So today we're gonna cover some of the worst ever. Oh yeah. These are the country music moments that didn't just cause a stir, but ruined an entire career trajectory. So buckle up, grab some popcorn, and get ready because we are going to be talking about some serious drama. Before we dive in, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up to show your support. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss one of our videos. But now let's dive in and go find out. What happened? The Chicks. The Chicks were a group that found a lot of success in the early 2000s, but they also had one of the most early 2000s controversies you could possibly have.
Their opinion is so ignorant.
They don't know what they're talking about.
I think they are the ditzy twits.
While doing a show in London during the fall of 2003, the band decided to step away from music for a little bit and get political, because that always goes so well. They ended up saying a lot of pretty harsh things about the then President George W. Bush, and how ashamed they were for his planned invasion of Iraq. Instead of cheers and applause, the Chicks were met with a lot of anger and confusion.
Is this a matter of free speech or bad manners?
We're gonna boycott them for their music, and we're gonna boycott you for playing it if you don't stop playing it.
So the next 3 years were pretty quiet for the group, even after walking back their comments from before. So in 2006, they would release a song that directly addressed that controversy. And although the stakes were clearly higher for this track, the response was kinda quiet. It seems they had lost a great deal of their fans. Sure, the band is still going at it today, though for better or for worse, and they even rebranded in 2020 and dropped yet another album. At the end of the day, this group may have always been destined to become a one-hit wonder, but they certainly didn't do themselves any favors by poking at a pretty controversial issue at the time. Jason Aldean. Country music stars are sometimes held to higher standards than other genres. So, a country music megastar like Jason Aldean, for example, is seen as someone who is supposed to love and take care of his wife and family, not get caught cheating on them for the entire world to see. But unfortunately for Jason, that is exactly what happened in 2012, when he was caught kissing an American Idol contestant. Needless to say, this story made headlines everywhere.
He apologized on October 1st, blaming his actions on a drunken mistake.
Especially given how strange it was for him to cheat on his wife with someone on a glorified game show. Things would get so bad between Jason and his wife that they would separate and eventually divorce. Jason, already a father of 2 daughters, would go on to remarry and essentially start a new family too, which also raised more than a few eyebrows. It got to the point that Jason publicly shamed the media, claiming it was awful what his children had to read about him. Of course, in entertainment, sometimes the public perception is just as important as the art you make. Jason definitely found out that the hard way, as it took him years to start rebuilding that dedicated fan base that he used to have. Sam Hunt. The scary thing about fame is the fact that it can be taken away from you in seemingly the blink of an eye. Once you get one controversy, even if it is withdrawn, you may struggle to gain back the trust of your audience. And something like that happened with Sam Hunt, who had to deal with his fair share of public embarrassment. The first domino to fall for Sam came when he was caught driving under the influence and on the wrong side of the road in Tennessee. The incident cost him a significant chunk of change and also gained him 11 months in prison, a sentence he was able to escape in favor of community service. But while the world was still reeling from that bizarre story of Sam's joyride, more news began to come to light. Divorce papers were being filed by his wife, claiming adultery as the major cause of the split. But there is also something mentioning something called inappropriate marital conduct. Whether this just has to do with the cheating or if it's another separate incident, it's kind of hard to know. But it is what helped turn Sam Hunt into one of the least desirable country stars around this time. Because we just don't know what his future has in store. Hopefully for his sake, he is able to redeem himself to his fans. But at this current point, it's looking less and less likely. Miranda Lambert. I know, it's kinda crazy to imagine Miranda Lambert on a list like this. But her recent actions have more or less earned her a spot in the doghouse with many diehard country music fans. While she could never ruin all that she built in just a few seconds, she has been showing a very different side of herself. And we seriously hope she fixes whatever is going on in her life before the consequences come back and bite her. Miranda Lambert is probably never leaving the spotlight fully, as love her or hate her, she has cemented her name as a cornerstone of the industry. But with that being said, she definitely has been hurting herself recently. Miranda's controversy is fairly recent, and even the reaction to it has been mixed, and may impact her significantly moving forward. The trouble all began when Miranda, while performing at a concert, decided to call out some of the women in the crowd for taking selfies instead of fully engaging with the music.
These girls are worried about the selfie and not listening to the song. It's pissing me off a little bit.
Lambert puts the women on blast, claiming that they are not here to experience some good old country music like the rest of the audience. The entire rant is kinda difficult to watch, and you can really feel the secondhand embarrassment for these women, and also for Miranda, because this sort of thing happens all the time, but maybe not just as much in country music. And we know if you want to make it in this genre, you have to get the crowd behind you. And instead, Miranda kinda distanced herself from her own audience. She is obviously a master at this sort of thing and will bounce back. But her PR team having to issue a statement explaining her thinking tells you all you have to know about how bad a look it really was. Yelling at your own fans, "Hey, get off my lawn." Perry. Probably the most recognizable instant destruction of a career would have to go to the band Perry.
The band Perry! The band Perry.
Now this group had a pretty promising country music career to look forward to, and also had labels behind them. The problem was that it seemed clear they wanted nothing to do with country music. When the band finally hit pay dirt and reached a safe point in their careers, they decided to double down. That's right, with barely any success and no longevity to stand behind, this band decided to rebrand into a pop group. Maybe in hopes of raking in more money, I don't know. But instead of hitting it big, the band struggled to find an audience with their new voice. And it didn't take long for them to figure out that they had made a huge mistake. But what the heck do you do when you've already left behind your core audience? Well, Perry decided that the best course of action was to just act like they never rebranded at all. So they released a song announcing their return to country charts. That song, unfortunately, was named Comeback Kid, which is just about the most on-the-nose name you could come up with. Needless to say, the band did not find that comeback, and the country music crowd did not forgive them. I guess the grass isn't always greener on the other pop side. Alright, that's all we got for now. Who that we mentioned ruined their career the most with their silly antics? Which that we mentioned did you enjoy their music the most? Do you still listen to any of their music, Jason Aldean maybe? And finally, did we forget anyone who shot themselves in the foot? Please get in the comments and tell us all things country music. Before you head out of here, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to our channel and come back often so we can keep telling you what happened.